Hello everyone and welcome along to Ross Explores. Today we're exploring something a bit different as I sit down and have a chat with you all. So let's get into this week's video. Recently I've been putting a lot of thought into this and it's something I know other people have discussed, and I thought I'll just give sort of my thinking and thoughts into the state of UK theme parks. As we know, there is a few theme parks in the UK, although the state of them is something very much a hot topic. We know that Universal are going to be opening up a new theme park right here in the UK in 2031. The new theme park actually is around 55 minutes or so drive away from me, which is absolutely fantastic. It's going to make it the best and easiest to get to, I would say, as well, theme parks, as both Alton Towers and Thorpe Park for me are around 2 hours-ish drive. And talking of Thorpe Park and Alton Towers, and just Merlin as a whole, what do we think? Coming into the later years of the parks, it's very much coming apparent that the parks are just not the same feel of vibe anymore. Certainly over the past year, at least in 2025 especially, they seem to have took a lot of decisions in my mind that actually impacted them a lot more than maybe they even hoped. And you can only hope that they've realised their mistakes, although they probably haven't, and they're going to do steps to improve. And to compete with the likes of Universal in the UK in Bedford, it's going to be a huge challenge, I reckon, for the likes of Merlin, as people now are just starting to see that Merlin even need to look at selling some of their attractions to invest money back into the attractions they keep, or Merlin by 2031 won't exist. It's no surprise when you see that over the past few years Merlin financially definitely look like they've been struggling, although they do have new rides that have been put in place. The visitor numbers, I would say, are not what they were expecting either, and the state of the parks as well, for me, it's starting to feel like they're not giving enough love, care and attention into the parks. Whether that's because of other future plans we've not disclosed, or again going back to the financial situation where we've not been in a strong place, so they can't do huge investments. Now I know some of you will say, well actually Alton Towers have got Blue Ride coming. Okay. For me, yeah, that's okay. It's a family sort of small ride they're putting in, but they also need to put a lot of the love and attention into big rides for adults, teenagers going to the parks. And Thorpe Park so far haven't announced what the next projects are going to be. I know we got Hyperia 2 years ago now, but to compete with Universal again, it's going to take a lot more than what we've got now. It's going to take a lot more love and attention to the customers, to us, Merlin pass holders as well, and also to just find enjoyment. And hopefully we'll see in the future, maybe, or near future, plans coming to fruition of what they're planning the next big rides for the parks to be. What I do find very interesting is you look at Legoland, which has had quite a bit of investment and still is. They've got a new 4D cinema which has been planned to be built. I've got two minds about that one. To me, I don't see the point in that being put in, but that is what it is. You look at Chessington World of Adventure, so they're doing a lot of investment, and that's also because it's IP rights, so they're probably getting a good deal as well on that. So you got your Paw Patrol opening up in 2025, 6 even, because we just had 2025. 2027 they've got a brand new area coming, which we've not confirmed, but we all think in likelihood is it'll be Minecraft. So Chessington at the moment has got the bigger investments going on, as well as maybe the water park might still come, who knows. Thorpe Park, nothing at all. Some might say, yeah, but they just had Hyperia, but yeah, that's not enough. You need a lot more than just Hyperia, which they've had open up in 2024, and actually it was a bad year as well for Thorpe Park and Hyperia, with issues they actually then went on to have. Alton Towers, you could argue, have done quite a bit of investment. You look at, they've had Toxicator go in 2025. Okay, it's a small gap filler. You've got the new ride as well, the Bluey ride going in. And also, who knows, are they going to still do Project Horizon? The planning permission for that does expire, I think, in June this year. So they're going to have to get that extended if they do wish to proceed with it. But, interestingly, they have put a request into the planning authority for the area that's going into. So, actually, we could well see that happening now. So that leaves you to think, well, if that happens, that's still quite a big investment going into Alton Towers, but Thorpe Park, what is going on? Now, of course, there is other theme parks. You've got Drayton Manor in the UK as well, which for me had a great year last year. You look at the events and stuff that Drayton Manor done, and then you look at other theme parks, Thorpe Park, Alton Towers mainly, who next to had nothing. Although Alton Towers did have their Scarefest and fireworks, both absolutely great. Thorpe Park had Fright Nights last year, for me a disappointment, which I've discussed before. And then you've got Politan's Park as well. And Politan's Park is doing huge investment into the theme park, which is absolutely great. I've never actually been to Politan's, so I can't actually comment on my thinking around that as a place to visit, but I hopefully will try and get there maybe this year. So, of course, you do have Flamingo Land further up north as well, and then you've got the smaller sort of seaside type parks like Blackpool Pleasure Beach and so on, but mainly for me, for Universal, the main contenders would be you'd have Alton Towers, Thorpe Park, possibly you could throw in Politan's as well, for where Politan's are now going. And what do I think 2031 is going to look like in the UK for theme parks? It's difficult to say, and Politan's I can still see going strong and maybe getting even stronger, especially at the rate they are going at. Merlin wise, it's difficult to say. So I could see them possibly getting rid of something like Alton Towers or Thorpe Park, or maybe even Legoland. You just do not know, and that is if they manage to survive through to 2031. What would I like to see happen to the likes of Thorpe Park or Alton Towers? Well, maybe if they went independent, or a company like Efteling. I don't want them to completely disappear at all. I think that would be a great loss. But major investment is definitely needed into both Alton Towers and Thorpe Park to be able to continue on and compete against Universal. And even with saying that, we don't know what Universal is going to look like yet fully, although we've seen some of the concept drawings. It'll be interesting to see what final rides will look like and what they're themed to. And it will hopefully mean, in the UK at least, we'll have one highly themed theme park, which others, Alton Towers, Thorpe Park, could at least pay a bit of attention to. You go to countries in Europe who've got phenomenal rides and attractions and theming and care for the theme parks. Especially when you look at places like Efteling, where I've been to in 2023, I want to say I went there. And I was blown away by it, especially when it's a theme park which is privately owned and not a corporation. And they can achieve amazing things. You've got excellent rides. You've got things like Baron, which is absolutely phenomenally themed and has phenomenal music to it. And although a lot of people say that theming isn't everything to a ride, it's about the ride itself. But if you can achieve a great ride with great theming and the likes of that, it makes for an amazing experience. It's something people would then always talk about. Yes, people talk about Hyperion, great because it's so tall, quick to go on. But then you always remember in 2024 the amount of downtime it actually then had as well, which was a huge disappointment. What do you think about the state of UK theme parks? Do you agree with me? Do you think Merlin should get rid of a theme park like Alton Towers to be able to concentrate and invest a lot more money into the other parks? Or do you think Merlin won't exist at all? Do you think we could see Thorpe Park shutting down completely eventually? Who knows? Let me know your comments down in the comments. And make sure you do subscribe to the channel, as I'm going to be bringing a lot more exploring content, not just from theme parks. I'm going to do some more content a bit like this as well, talking about my thoughts and feelings and the state of stuff as well. And hopefully we see some exciting news come out eventually over the next 2 years or so in regards to the theme parks, who need to step up the game a lot to be able to compete in 2031. So this has been Ross Explores. I hope you've enjoyed this sort of, I would say rant, but it's not a rant, but a thought-provoking video.